What do you see?
I see something that has, taken place in our community for far too long.
We've spoken to the experts and examined the data in 4 of the city's poorest zip codes in terms of income and poverty rates in Orange Mound, in Southwest Memphis, Raleigh, and in Frayser. We found drivers there, those with poor credit ratings especially, are being charged higher yearly premiums than those in the same zip code with excellent credit ratings. That's according to an examination by the Consumer Federation of America, a group of consumer organizations from around the country working on behalf of consumers. Doug Heller is their insurance expert and a member of the committee that advises the U.S. Treasury Department on insurance matters.
If you have a poor credit score, your premium is actually double what somebody with an excellent credit score is, everything else being the same.
To find their data, the CFA created a driver profile, a 30-year-old single woman with a good driving history, no lapses in coverage, a renter, and a fair credit rating. Their assessment includes premiums for Allstate, Farmers, Geico, Progressive, and State Farm, companies that collectively represent 53% of the national market. Our analysis of the data finding in the 4 zip codes we looked at where income and poverty rates are the lowest in Raleigh. We found Farmers had the biggest disparity, charging a driver with excellent credit a yearly premium of $1,180, while a driver with poor credit was charged $2,170. In Orange Mound, it was Farmers again. The excellent credit driver charged $1,100, while the poor credit driver was charged a little more than $2,000. It was again Farmers in Southwest Memphis, showing to be the most expensive as well, charging $1,130 for a driver with excellent credit and nearly $2,100 for a driver with poor credit. The poor credit driver was charged an average of $955 more in those 3 zip codes, but in Frayser, the difference was more than $1,000. Farmers Insurance charged a driver with excellent credit $1,200, while a driver with poor credit was charged more than $2,200. Compare that with data from predominantly white neighborhoods of Cooper Young, East Memphis, and downtown, where rates average 6% lower than those in the 4 lower income zip codes.
If you're poor and yet you're being charged higher rates, essentially because of your poverty and how that relates to your credit score, you end up driving uninsured. You get pulled over, you get that ticket, you can't drive, which means you can't get to work, which means you don't have that income, which is that cycle of poverty.
The old saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, we see why now.
We took our questions to Memphis NAACP President Van Turner.
We're still trying to rebound from redlining. And now on this particular issue, we're talking about your credit scores.
In Tennessee, the Department of Commerce and Insurance is responsible for enforcing the state's insurance laws. We asked if they've looked at whether the use of credit scores in setting auto insurance rates have an unfair impact on communities of color. Their response, they're awaiting recommendations of discussions between other states that are part of the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, quote, related to these matters in the future, and look forward to reviewing the NAIC's recommendations. It is anticipated that the NAIC's working group will look at credit scores as a part of their work. We taped our interview with insurance expert Doug Heller before they replied to our questions, but in an email, Heller said the data the Association of Insurance Commissioners issued is flawed and ultimately that it's too little, too late. But it's when he told us this fact, based on a study from the Consumer Reports magazine, that our jaws dropped.
It costs more in Tennessee to have a perfect driving record but poor credit than it does for somebody who has excellent credit who is convicted of drunk driving.
What on God's green earth does credit have to do with your driving record? Not a damn thing.
State Representative Antonio Parkinson indignant about the issue, speaking with us from his Nashville office amid a flurry of action in the Tennessee legislature. Of this issue, he says it must end, telling us,
since you brought this issue to my attention, that I have on my list to draft legislation to see if there's a possible fix